farmer, if I tell you a chicken can pull a wagon, you can hitch him up. And I'm here to tell you that all your life you've been told this fairy tale wrong. It's one that you've heard as Cinderella, but it wasn't that way at all. Originally, it was called Rendicella. It goes like this. Once upon a time, in a corn country, there lived a prancing Hens. Now this prancing Hens was going to have a fancy fall, and he invited people from miles around, especially the pit tree. Now also in this corn country, there lived a Princess Beatrice, and her name was Rendicella. And she lived with her ugly other and 3 sad blisters. Now it came the night of the fancy fall, and Rendicella, she couldn't go because all she had to wear was just some old rarity bags. It came that night, and she just came down and shrine. And while she was getting there shrine, appeared before her was a Gary Modfather said, Rendicella, I'm going to let you go to the fancy fall on one condition. That's if you be back before the mid-clock strikes 9. And Rendicella, she agreed, and he said, but now look, if you ain't back before midnight, you're going to turn into a tunkin. So Rendicella agreed, and he waved his magic man and appeared before her kickbolt to 6 white horses to take her to the fancy fall. Now when they arrived at the fancy fall, the prancing Hens met him at the door because he'd been looking out for him behind a wooden hill. And they danced all night. And they left and fug right there on the dance floor. And about that time, Rendicella looks up at the clock and says, God, goodness, la mate. So she staced down the rares, and just as she beached the bottom, she slapped her gripper. But she just kept on running. Now the prancing Hens found this slop dripper and said, if ever this thing fits, that's how I'm gonna marry. So he goes all over the corn country trying to help people, but it fit him in. Finally, he gets to Rendicella's house, he tries on her ugly other, and it fit him in. And he tried on her 2 sickly esters, and it fit him in. But he tried it on Rendicella, and it fit in. It was just the right size. And they lived happily ever after. Now, the story of the Maury is, if you ever want to go to a fancy fall and want a prancing Hen to all in fun with you, don't forget to slop your dripper.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miles Young.